Hello everyone, welcome to Keto Living. So I'm really excited about today's recipe. I'm actually doing two of them, one for me and one for my good friend Hannah, who is the mother of one of the little girls that comes to my house, Miss Laura. So we are doing shepherd's pie. And of course it's a little bit different than what you're used to, but it is still so delicious. And I took one this past Sunday a big, huge one, to go to a potluck at church. And I wasn't sure how well it would be received, but I only got a little bit of it, and when I went back to get some more of it, it was completely gone and somebody had washed the dish. So it must have been really good. So I'm really excited. So without further ado, let me just put you down here and we'll get started. So what we're going to use for this, of course, is organic grass-fed beef, and I use 80-20 blend. And then I'm going to use some organic sliced baby bellas, or cremini mushrooms. I am going to use a mixture of organic mozzarella, Parmesan, and Asiago cheese that's been grated. I'm going to use some butter and just a little bit of cream cheese and some heavy whipping cream. I'm also going to use, of course, salt and pepper, and I'm going to use some minced onions in here. And instead of peas or something like that, what we put in traditional shepherd's pie, I'm using green beans. Now, these were frozen, and they were organic, and I just took them out, flash cooked them for a few seconds, and then drained them. So, now, if you remember, if you saw last week's food prep thing, you would have seen me make cream of mushroom soup, and that is basically what we're going to start out with. So I'm just going to take a pan, and I'm going to cut about 2.5 tablespoons of butter, and then put this in the pan, and then I'm going to give it a couple of sprays of olive oil to get something started until the butter kicks in. And then I'm going to put this on the stove. And then what I'm going to do is to put my mushrooms in there. I'm going to cook them down without salt. Remember, if you salt your mushrooms before you brown them, you will never get them browned. Because what happens is the mushrooms release their liquids and they just won't get browned. So I never salt my mushrooms beforehand. Now these are organic, and I did buy them pre-sliced. But if you buy whole mushrooms, they need to be cleaned. And just to make sure when you clean these, you don't dunk them under water, because they are full of water and they will be rubbery and tough. You just take a damp paper towel and you wipe them off with a paper towel. So you should never dunk mushrooms in water, because they will be tough, yucky, yucky. So that's what I'm going to do so far. All I'm going to do is get the mushrooms started, and then I'm going to brown the hamburger. And when I get that done, I'll be back. Okay, guys, so we are back, and I have the mushrooms all cooked down, and I have salted them now, and they're starting to release some of their juices. And now to that, I'm going to add about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces of cream cheese. This is going to be part of the base for our mushroom soup. And it's going to help kind of thicken it a little bit. So we're just going to let this cook in. Now, cremini mushrooms or bella mushrooms give it a really beefy flavor, and I love to use them. But this would also be good with oyster mushrooms, or shiitake mushrooms, or even just regular mushrooms. But I love the other mushrooms, and I love hen of the woods mushrooms. Those are good in this too. But baby bellas are more affordable and easier to find. So once I get all the cream cheese worked in there, I'm going to add just a splash of beef bone broth. Just a little splash of that. And that's going to give it some extra beefy flavor. Now I have this over medium heat because the next thing I'm going to put in here is our heavy whipping cream. Now, whether you're on a keto diet or not, this is like the best recipe for cream of mushroom soup. You are not going to find this out of a can. It is so good. Now, if you don't want to use heavy whipping cream, if you're not on keto and you don't want to use heavy whipping cream because of all the fat in it, you can certainly use milk. But the whipping cream gives it a richness that you won't find with milk. Okay, so now I'm going to add some heavy whipping cream in here. About a cup. And that's going to be about a cup right there. And then you're going to heat this till it gets nice and warm. And let this start cooking down. And it will naturally thicken up. The thing you don't want to do, and I know I've said this before, is you do not want to boil heavy cream because it will separate and you will have a big old greasy mess on your hands. So just bring it to a simmer and let it simmer for a few minutes. It will start thickening up. So when I bring this up to a simmer, then we'll start assembling everything and I'll show you how I put it all together. Okay guys, so we're back and the soup is done. It is looking so good. And like I said, you won't find this out of a can. So now what I'm going to do is add my hamburger meat to it. And this holds it together while it's, you know, in the casserole dish. It gives it lots of flavor. So we're just going to mix this in here.
I'm going to do the PJ Maxx puzzle.
Okay. Now I told you, instead of peas, God bless you, I got my kiddos over there. We're going to be adding some green beans in here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add all of these or not. The kiddos have been sneaking them. But I want to add some vegetables in there. And I'll break these up just a little bit as I'm putting them in there. Like I said, I put green beans in the ones that I fixed this past Sunday. And I don't know, but this stuff flew off the table. Okay. Now, you may be wondering what we're going to do for the potato part. And you all know that I love my mashed cauliflower mash. And, you know, I usually use a different brand. Let's see a brand. But I couldn't find that this week. So, my favorite brand, other than that one, is actually the Hanover brand that I get from Walmart. And these really are good. And they're nice and thick. They don't come out watery like some of them do. So now that I have that, I'm going to cook the ones in the packages. And all I'm going to do so far is, I told you I'm making 2 dishes out of this. Because, I mean, let's face it, I don't need like a ton of these. I could take this out and freeze it. Get 2 meals out of it for sure. But, or 4 meals, because I can get 2 meals. This will be dinner and lunch for tomorrow. But, I decided to share with my friend Hannah, which is really funny because she's a chef. She doesn't have time to cook for herself, so, and she tries to eat keto way as much as possible. So, all I'm going to do is put a serving spoon. All I'm going to do is divide this up between the 2 pans. And I really honestly could probably get 3 little pans out of this. We'll see how it looks. And I may do that. But I want to make sure everybody has a good base. Next to the, let's see, the Hanover brand of cauliflower mash tastes more like mashed potatoes than Some of the other ones do. So.
No, it's mine.
I
No,
think,
it's mine.
I'm not sure if I have enough for another one. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide it out between the two.
It's mine. I did it. So it's mine.
I got dogs down here rumbling. Kids in the background going, it's mine, it's mine. Okay. I think that looks about even, really. And y'all, I have to say, the taste of this, it is so good. Okay, so let me get the cauliflower mash going here, and I'll be back to show you how to finish putting it together.
Miss Anna.
Okay, guys, we're back. I've already done this one. I just put the mash on top. So all I'm going to do is pour this on top.
Wait a second.
Go wash your hands.
No.
I had a little helper.
Look at my hand.
You put them on your nose. Okay, so you're just going to spread the mash out across the potatoes like that. And I love, like I said, I love the handovers when I can't get my regular ones. They're good. And then we're going to top it with cheese. And Laura's going to come help me put the cheese on top. As soon as we get her hands cleaned off a little bit more. Stick your hand in there and say hi. They can't see you. Hi. All right. Because one of these is her meals. Okay, so we're going to take the cheese and we're just going to sprinkle it on top. We're going to cover the whole thing with cheese. Get up here on the top, honey, so that you can do it. All right, put your hands in there. Grab cheese like this. And you're just going to sprinkle it all over the top, like that. Get some more.
Yummy.
Yummy?
Yes.
Yes. And that's another thing, guys. If you're worried about your kids and stuff, eating stuff, if you invest the time to let your children help you in the kitchen, they're more apt to eat what they make or help make, right? You like to cook, huh? And she always eats what she cooks. Okay, that's enough for that one. We got to trade this one out. We're going to spread this out. We're going to trade this out and put this one down here. Say, one of these is going home with you for dinner, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you want to get the rest of it? And start sprinkling more cheese on. So you're just going to cover the tops off. Now, I'm not going to bake these now because I want them to be nice and hot when they're served. You guess, sweetheart, here's some more cheese. So, you would just bake these off at 350 degrees just until the cheese is brown because it's already done and, you know, you don't need to do anything else to it. Everything else is done. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about the challenge. The Watch and Win challenge that is going on until the 11th. And make sure when you watch for the secret word. What's the secret word today, Laura?
Potato.
The secret word is potato. So somewhere in the comments, you need to work in the word potato, which we don't need on the keto living diet. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time watching, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel by hitting the little subscribe button.
Thumbs up.
And that's right, and give us a thumbs up. Good job, Laura. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.